You're watching a special edition of Agenda just about a year after the Supreme Court recognized the transgender community as a third gender, and just a few months after the historic passing of a private member bill recognizing the rights of the transgender community. Now it is about to go into Lok Sabha, and they're hoping that it's a private member's bill. Jay Panda is going to introduce it there. Triti Shiva was instrumental in introducing it in Rajya Sabha, getting it passed, and also we have Rapalu the Bhaskar, Congress MP, who supported the bill. And of course, as you see over here, our audience today on Agenda is the transgender community, talking about why it is so important for them for this bill to be passed by Lok Sabha. I just want to start with you, Jay Panda. You are going to be introducing it in Lok Sabha. How hopeful are you that you'll have the same luck as Triti Shiva did?
We are hopeful, and I must point out that there are several of my colleagues cutting across party lines who are all vying with each other to introduce this bill because it is historic. And this bill, when it was introduced by our friend Siva in Rajya Sabha, we had all kept our fingers crossed. But let us remember that no private member's bill has passed either house since the early 70s. So it's been 4.5 decades. So in that sense, it was very historic. Yeah. And then of course, it is equally historic if we can pass it in the Lok Sabha and make it law, because we have built up this track record of discrimination against large numbers of Indians, whether they are transgender, whether they are LGBT. Now, this will not solve discrimination against everybody in that category, but this will be a major breakthrough, which I think can set the stage for other reform.
Mr. Triti Shiva, I can already see you're a hero among the community that you push. So I wanted to ask you, why did you choose this as your private member bill? And now that this is the next step that you're taking, how hopeful are you? Jay Panda is quite hopeful. How hopeful are you?
First thing, I belong to the DMK party, which has been fighting for the privileged classes, downtrodden people, and who have been sidelined in the society. And that has been our core thread. And any development which you can see in Tamil Nadu is only after the advent of the Dravidian movement that would DMK have come to power. So I also joined DMK having understood its policies and which suited my temperament. So having done many things in the past, I have been thinking for quite some time. What should be done something new. And I have attended some of the conventions which these people organize, and I have come to know about the sufferings which they are undergoing, how much they are being ill-treated. So I thought something should be done.
We have Simran Sheikh over here, who's a transgender activist, and you were just telling us how you were there at that historic moment. In the recent months, in the last session as well, Parliament has been really, really disrupted. And are you scared about the fact that, just because of the fact that people aren't getting along and think your cause won't be pushed through?
I don't think that way, but I'm really very, very, very fortunate, and I'm really very hopeful. I don't think that there is a scope where it would be rejected or it would be, gone for further discussions, because I have full hope on the current house, and I'm really optimistic. I'm completely crossed if you could see me.
Mr. Bhaskar, you were telling me earlier how things have changed. People were, and the community, and we'll just speak to the community. It's 500,000, I'm told. Estimates say it's a 500,000 strong community in India, and yet they've talked about it. We've always highlighted their fate. And
statistically, they say 500,000.
Yeah.
But it will be more.
Much more.
The minimum number we could consider.
Right. So, Mr. Bhaskar, I wanted to ask you, why is it that you feel that people have changed? People are much more, and you're expecting very little opposition to this. Why is it?
Gender justice can be treated to be attained when we completely answer to the all genders. And this is the nature which has given them the transgender position. And until and unless the humankind recognizes and gives the needed defense, justice, security and empowerment, then only we can expect the gender justice.
Yeah, but I just wanted to point out to people just some of the things that this piece of the private bill promises. 2% quota. You're also saying that you want 2% quota in jobs and education, separate courts, respect for people. There's separate commission as well for transgenders. But I was speaking to community members and people over here. Leila, aap bata rahi thi कि आपको जब किसी बिल से क्या चाहिए?
बिल से हमें ये चाहिए, पहले डॉक्टरी,
हेल्थ
मेडिकल,
ट्रीटमेंट,
हाँ, और
वो अभी नहीं मिलता है।
और दूसरा हमें चाहिए सुरक्षा, जो पुलिस सुनती नहीं है हमारी कहीं पर भी। किसी किन्नर को एक जगह मैंने देखा, आगरे के अंदर एक किन्नर को बस से उतार के एक लड़का उसको मार रहा है और उसको 10 पुलिस वाले उसको देख रहे हैं, और वो किन्नर पैर पुलिस वालों को पैर पकड़ रहा है कि इनसे मुझे बचा लो, मगर पुलिस तो हेल्प नहीं करती।
और आप कह रहे थे कि बहुत सारे लोगों के साथ रेप भी होता है और पुलिस केस दर्ज नहीं करते।
नहीं, किन्नरों के साथ तो रोज रेप होता है, दिल्ली शहर के अंदर क्या, बॉम्बे के अंदर क्या, कलकत्ता के अंदर क्या, मद्रास के अंदर क्या, चेन्नई के अंदर क्या। हाँ, यहाँ दिल्ली में जब भी किन्नरों की हालत अच्छी है और देश को देखते हुए, और इधर चले जाओ बेंगलोर,
वो भी यही पड़ा। अभी ना, is that some of the things that
वहाँ तो बहुत बदतमीज लोग हैं बेंगलोर
that is talked about but never really heeded?
Yeah, actually, you know what you need to understand, that whatever problems that I think it's a different world altogether, and a lot of people are not aware about that. When we talk about transgender, either people relate to them with the mystery, fear, or a sympathy.
Yeah.
And I think we don't need that. What we need is our right. We want people to be respected.
Yeah.
I have faced, I have faced a lot of issues. I was traveling to Kerala. I work as a full-time worker. I work 9 to 5 job, and I think I have to work 16 hours just to prove that as a transgender also I can do much more better than a man and a woman could do. But unfortunately 37% of the transgenders who are educated are not been able to get the jobs. The 2% is a very, very less amount of
that quota, that is,
quota.
yeah.
But I feel that this is as sir been saying is about that, it's a foot in that doorstep, and I think we want to open that window, loud open for all of us.
So I want to ask Jay Panda, how will that, some of the things are really heartening. I mean, it's shocking really. At a time when we're all talking about sexual violence, the fact that there's a whole community which doesn't get heard at all. How will your bill, which you're in Lok Sabha, how will that change things, do you think?
Well, I see laws as going hand in hand with societal attitudes. Now, this law, for instance, I mean, the many other laws relating to discrimination against certain kinds of sexuality, they date back to 19th century Victorian era British Raj times. And
Right.
India was not the only country which suffered from that. Similar laws were passed in Western countries in the same time frame.
Right.
But if you look at our own historical heritage, Indians have been very tolerant of all kinds of people with all kinds of sexual orientation.
Yeah.
And I think what is happening is we are A, rediscovering our own heritage, and B, with the last quarter century, India is getting much more integrated to the rest of the world. We are beginning to realize how the rest of the world is more tolerant about this. So societal attitudes have to go hand in hand with, yes, they have.
So-
because
so-
a law could not pass
Yeah.
unless lawmakers felt
Yeah.
that we would also get support from society at large.
Okay, so and I wanted to ask you, in Tamil Nadu, have things changed since they got, their rights in the
Yeah.
state? Do you see that change? And I wanted to ask from all of you.
Tamil
as well.
Nadu was the first state to constitute a welfare board,
Yeah.
and Maharashtra and West Bengal followed. And
So the police are much more sensitized. The things that
yes, that board was taking care of so much. I think it did so well, and these people were very much satisfied. But nowadays it is not working that much.
It's
but
not
that
working.
board was to the maximum extent. They were happy, and people were getting employment. Even the SR surgery was done free of cost, which
the
they have been
yeah,
insisting
which is
about.
another demand that another
Yeah.
thing that the bill has provision for. आप बता रहे थे कि what is it that you wanted? Tell us that.
मैं मतलब जॉब के लिए बता रहा था, मतलब जॉब के लिए बहुत स्ट्रगल करना पड़ता है, मिलती नहीं है, कोई रखता ही नहीं है कोई ये।
Which is what you were also saying, yeah.
हाँ, वो मतलब पहले ही देखते ही कि हाँ आपको जॉब चाहिए, वो मना कर देते हैं साफ, कहीं भी चले जाओ जॉब के लिए। एक आधा कोई रख भी लेता है तो वहाँ थोड़े टाइम के लिए अगर उसे रख भी लिया तो ये लगता है कि माहौल ख़राब हो रहा है, तो उसको वहाँ से भी निकाल देते हैं। फिर उसके पास कोई साधन नहीं बचता काम करने के लिए,